This is a Porsche 962C road conversion, and it's made by a brand Kyosho. I would have never guessed that Kyosho would have taken the effort to make a road converted 962, but this is actually physically different looking than a regular 962 road racing car, at least from the photographs I researched. Anyways, let's take a closer look here. The 962 was the further evolution of the 956, and it continued the dominance of Porsche with prototype racing. To give you a sense of an idea, this thing was introduced in 1984 and was competitive up into the mid 90s, which is a long time for racing cars. And it actually won 21 different constructors championships because it raced in so many different series. The reason why it actually came about is because in America, I believe the IMSA GTP class banned the 956, the previous generation, because the driver's feet were ahead of the axle, the front axle. So they thought that was dangerous. So in order for Porsche to go racing in the IMSA class races, they stretched out the chassis and made a longer version, and that became the 956. I'm saying the 962. So yeah, there were a couple different engines, 2.8, 3 liters, even bigger than 3 liters. But after the privateers started losing out to like factory cars from Jaguar, Porsche developed a 3-liter unit, and then it started to win races outright. And it won at the 87 24 Hours of Le Mans, which made it Porsche's 7th straight win of that race, which is pretty impressive. Okay, so they produced about 91 of these cars. Originally, they were all race cars, and they were really highly sought after for being so successful. And I guess they ended production in 1991. And then later on, after the cars weren't so successful, they started to convert them for street use. And so what we're looking at, those photographs you're looking at, are a Dauer, D-A-U-E-R, a Dauer conversion of the race cars. So you can see that I believe it is a Dauer, because the side view actually totally matches that yellow photo I showed you, with the vent here, the vents here, the vent here, this little triangular shape there. So this has to be a Dauer racing vehicle. So interesting, I never knew about any of that stuff. Okay, well, let's take a look here. Yeah, the black paint is in that, looks pretty good. Being a red paint color, it's filling in a lot of the panel gaps, like there in particular. But you can still see some of the details. There's a little orange here for a reflector, I guess. A little clamshell break there, but it's filled in by that paint. These are some nice wheels. I'm pretty sure those spokes are hollow. I don't know. Let's see if we can. Yeah, you can see some light back there. So those are some nice wheels. I've seen worse from Kyosho, and I've definitely seen worse from almost all the other brands. So very nice. I mean, the gold is nicely centered as well. You can see these little tiny perimeter lug nuts. Not lug nuts, just perimeter nuts. Maybe this is like a 2-piece or a 3-piece wheel. And then the center knockoff there is good. Alright. You got kind of molded in blobby mirrors. I guess that's the best you can do with a casted in mirror. Okay, the front end, we got some clear lenses and then some sort of molded light bucket behind it. So it looks like there's 2 headlights back in there, which looks accurate to the photograph. The Porsche crest here looks alright. It's not the best crest though. I think Kyosho's done better since. Yeah, that's definitely... Oh, you know what? Maybe that's like a Dauer crest. Maybe that's not actually meant to be a Porsche crest. I don't know what a Dauer crest looks like, but maybe it's supposed to look like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, some black paint here for these fake, supposed to be vents there on the real one. There's a little black along the whole chin. Maybe that's like a carbon scraper or something, or a splitter. Being a red casting, you can clearly see all the paint rash developing there, so that's not so great. Some vents. Yeah, they go in there. I think that's black plastic of the bottom base piece. This canopy, looks like a jet fighter here. The black is painted pretty well. There's a three-dimensional wiper blade there sticking up. And because there's so much glass, you can actually see the interior for a change. That's pretty rare for a Kyosho. But it looks like there's some molded in seat belts there. Steering wheels kind of flat on the bottom. Can't really see any molded in gauges. They probably are there. But anyway, so that's nice. I would not want to be a passenger in this car. I mean, look how cramped that is. Anyone with wide shoulders, it's going to be a rough ride. Maybe kids only for that vestigial seat there, it looks like. Anyways, a little casted in vents here. No additional paint though. So the wing here, so the side of the wing is the metal casting, but then this must be a piece of plastic because I can see a break there. And then this one is a double-decker wing. I saw some other dour photos where there's only one wing, so I pulled up that white photograph to show the double-decker wing. Sorry, I can't seem to get the focus on there. Alright. And then I've seen different exhaust systems in there. This one's got a oval muffler with two tips. That white photo just has two pipes coming out the back. Anyways, the lights look good. You can see some color separation. Looks like orange, white, red. I wonder if this is a separate piece because it's crooked. Right? I don't know. Unfortunately, it's riveted together, so I probably won't find out. I'm not going to drill it apart. It's got racing slicks. Doesn't really want to roll at all. There's a lot of friction going on inside for some reason. Yeah, it's not going to roll at all. Okay, so I guess that's everything. It's a red car, so it's a red model. So I've come to expect that on, you know these diecasts. I would obviously prefer to not have a red one, but these things don't come up very often for sale, so I just picked it up when I could. Okay, well, anyways, it's still an interesting casting. I'm just actually really surprised that Kyosho even made this. I would have guessed that they would have probably rather make a competition 962 and then put out a bunch of different liveries. But maybe they couldn't get the licensing for the liveries, and so they just decided they could pay dour to license this thing. Or maybe they didn't license it at all because there's nothing on that base saying it's a dour 962. There are a lot of different companies, I guess, converting these over to street cars, so there's a lot of different body kits or body modifications that were made. So I was just lucky enough to find these images in my search on Google. Okay, well, so it's definitely an interesting one. I'm happy to have it. I really like Porsche cars. So I do have a couple of 956 models, but they're 187 scale. So this is made by Spark Model. This is the winner of the 1982 Le Mans race. And it's just crazy the detail they put into this. Look, it's got an antenna, the wheels, you can see that little mesh pattern. I think they're all decals, the graphics. But the side exhaust there, the little fuel filler there, the cutoffs. Look at these, vents here. This is a plastic model, by the way. That's how you can get these sort of details. There's a radiator back in there, I think. Yeah, look at that. You can see all those radiators. And then the headlights are even more detailed. There's a blinker in there. It looks like there's two headlight lenses behind the clear aerodynamic lens. A tow hook. I mean, it's just nuts. Spark Model. Great models. Clear, transparent tail lights. Look at this. A photo etched metal strut that's actually hollow. Like a real, it's not the one just solid plate of metal. There's literally air there. That's just crazy. So anyways, you can kind of see, well, it's hard to see because it's a different scale, but so I guess on the 956 the person's feet were in front of this axle line, and maybe in an accident the IMSA rules were thinking they would shear off someone's feet, so they stretched it out, and maybe now the person's feet are more like here, so if it got into a crash the feet wouldn't get crushed or something. I'm just guessing, guys. Alright, well, anyways, that's the best comparison I can show you guys. Or if anything, 187 scale. They're better than a lot of 164 scales, but this model did cost a lot of money. Okay. So back to 164 and back to this Kyosho. It's a cool model. If you like Porsches, you might want to pick it up. And but if not, I totally understand. And hopefully I'll see you guys the next time I do a review. Thanks for watching.